welcome.
Episode 5.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's an episode that we've been teasing for quite some time now.
We're quite the teasers, aren't we?
Yes, we are. But a lot of
Teasers.
things have been happening. And not to forget about anything that's happening, but I
No.
think we also need some entertainment.
Yes.
And so that's what we're here to provide.
Some normalcy.
Some normalcy, yes. So this is the How We Met episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We're pretty excited about it. Or are you excited about it?
I'm very, very excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Also,
What?
very, very warm.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like this is
summer in Oslo.
It's a weather forecast podcast
It really
as much
is,
as
and
anything.
It's important too. I'm going to check and see exactly how much. Right now it's 26
It
degrees Celsius. And I would tell you in Fahrenheit, but I'm not going to do that because
No, probably like 400 or something.
Exactly. if you don't use Celsius, that's on
your
you.
That's your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we just dive right in?
Let's dive in. I feel like there's nothing more to preface than we've already done. We've done the weather.
Exactly.
We've said what we're going to do, so let's do it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to start and then I want you to just jump in, okay?
Okay.
So the year was 2015. Would you agree?
Yes,
Like
I
the
would agree.
fall
Yes,
of-
that's true because
probably around maybe October, something like that. October of 2015.
it will be exactly then.
Yep,
I can't say why because that will spoil the story.
exactly. But here's the case. So my sister, my older sister, let's call her Kristen because that's her name.
Shout out.
She went to Leeds in England to go to school for 1 year.
Masters.
Yes. And she met you.
Lucky her.
Lucky her. And she had told me about you. She'd told me how she'd made a new friend and that you were really cool. And she had also told me multiple times that, like, oh, you guys would get along really well. You're the same age and you're basically the same person. And after some time then,
Yes.
mid-October, the two of you were in the library, I think.
Were we ever not in the library? Hashtag studious students.
Yes.
Yes.
And she suggested that you two would call me on FaceTime so she
did.
could cyber introduce us.
Yes.
Yes.
This is true.
And so we jumped on a FaceTime call.
Yes, we did.
And we kind of met on a FaceTime call. And
Yes.
we talked for a little bit. And I think we hit it off like pretty well right away.
Yeah.
But again, it was just a short FaceTime call.
It was.
And we hung up.
We did.
And I was talking to my sister on text later that night.
I was not involved.
You were not involved later the same day. And she was like, oh, I'm so glad that you finally got to like say hi to each other. And I was like, yeah. And we're talking a little bit. And then I'm like, yeah, so she's gay. And my sister's like, what? No, she has a boyfriend. And I was like,
True story.
yeah. And I was like, well, for now, but she's obviously gay. And then my sister goes, Matilda, not everyone is gay. Which is true.
It is.
True statement. Not everyone is gay.
That is a true statement.
But I knew that you were.
That's true.
That's
true.
It came through the FaceTime conversation.
I mean,
Also, you were wearing a flannel shirt.
didn't
so-
help my case
No,
at all.
Really didn't.
But quickly to just give some context to this part of the story, when I met your sister, who we're going to call Kristen,
Yes.
which is her name, as I immediately saw her sitting in the lecture hall, I thought to myself, oh, I'm not gonna like her at all. She looks posh, and I thought not my type of person. And I tell you why. One of the main points is, sorry, Kristen, it was because one, she had like a pencil case, which is like, and she had equipment, and I was like, I don't even have a pencil. Let alone a pen, let alone a case full. And I was like, oh, she's so organized. Oh, she's going to be really smart. Too prepared, like so prepared, like so smart. I'm like, oh, she's not going to like me at all. And then I was like, oh, she's wearing cashmere. Like, that's fancy. And then I was like, oh, she's
Sounds like her.
Norwegian. And I'm like, oh, she's really fancy. She's not going to like me. And like, oh, she's not my type of person. I was wrong. So don't judge a book by its cover, people. We got on like a house on fire.
You really did.
We had the time of our
It's
lives.
a good lesson, though.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was wrong. Don't judge a person by the pencil case just because you don't have a pencil.
And luckily you didn't, because
didn't.
you guys ended up being friends, which led to us being introduced.
Yes.
And a little while later, after our FaceTime call, and I had said to my sister that you were gay, and she was like, no, she has a boyfriend. And anyway, a few weeks later, or if maybe a month later or something like that, I messaged you on Facebook. And I asked for your help
This
because
is true.
Kristen's birthday was coming up. And
Yes, it was.
obviously, I was not going to be there for it because she was in Leeds and I was in Oslo. So I asked you to help me surprise her.
You
if
did.
I could, like, you know, transfer you some money and you could fix something or buy a card, whatever, like something to surprise her. And I'd say that that's when we started actually
Yes.
talking. Because at
That's
first
true.
it was like a mission, which was her
It
birthday.
was a great mission.
And we spoke quite a bit back and forth to make that happen. And then also obviously like talked about other random stuff and like got to know each other. And then we kind of never stopped talking.
It didn't stop.
No, it
Matilda.
didn't.
And here we are.
And here
then
we
that's
are.
the story.
Yep, done. No, and her birthday, that went great. Managed to surprise her. And after a little while, you messaged me, or I think you called me. I can't remember which one it was, but
Couldn't tell ya.
messaged or called.
Yes.
And then, what a surprise. You were like, look, I think I'm gay.
Guys,
What do I do?
spoiler.
Spoiler.
Spoiler to my Instagram.
And I was like, well, I will help you with whatever you need help with. And
Yeah.
I'd
A guy-con.
exactly.
Being the
Thank
guy-con that you are.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Would you like me to say some more?
Please.
I mean, a gay queen, an
Wow.
icon, a legend.
Someone called me gay Jesus on
Not
on
complaining.
Twitter once.
I stand by whoever said that
Yep.
in arms. And
But yeah,
agree.
no, that really kind
Happened.
of was the start of our friendship, I want
It
to say.
was.
And the more we talked, the more things we had in common.
That was the terrifying part. It was that, like, we are so similar.
Yeah.
But what were the chances of us ever knowing each other? So
Slim to none.
Slim to literally zero.
Yeah.
Can I add the part about my mom and your mom here?
Oh, please do.
Because that is quite bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of a fast forward thing here. So your mom is Swedish,
Yep.
as I think we've mentioned, and my mom is not, but that's not the point of the story. We met, our parents met at our graduation. So Kristen and I graduated. I know, shock. We graduated and we had graduation and we decided that we would go to dinner with both of our parents because our parents got on immediately and we're like, this will be nice. And then we're sitting at dinner and my mom's like, actually, I've lived in Sweden. And then your mom's like, oh, where? And my mom goes, Åmål? and your mom grabs Kristen's arm and goes, what did she say? And Kristen's like, I don't know. Like, and my mom's like, Åmål? And then your mom says it correctly.
Yep.
And-
Åmål.
yes. And my mom's like, yes. And she's like, oh, that's where I'm from, says
And
your mom.
Yes, and context to that again
Yeah.
is that is such a tiny, tiny, tiny little place in Sweden.
It's
Out of all of Sweden where she could have lived, she lived in the exact same little town that my mom is from.
what
Which
are the
is
chances?
insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's completely insane. Which makes the whole thing, like, gives it another level, I feel like.
Oh,
Because
for
when
sure.
we figured that out, because I didn't know where my mom lived in Sweden. So I had never mentioned it to Kristen or you or anyone. And then we discovered this at the dinner table and I was like, this is just too weird. Like, what is going on?
It's
Something
really strange.
very
But,
strange.
That happened.
Yes.
But back to square one.
Yes.
We us finding out that we had a lot in common.
Yes.
We bonded over our love for Sophia Bush
Yes.
pretty quickly, I want to say.
Bay.
And I think we just, like, for someone from the outside, if someone
Yeah.
from the outside would have known or would have seen how much we spoke, because it started with texts, right?
Yes.
And then we started calling each other.
Yes.
And I do not know why we did not do this, but we called each other. We did not
What was wrong
FaceTime
with
or
these-
FaceTime audio, which would go on like your Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
We actually called. So our phone bills were out of this world.
It's just ridiculous.
But I think if someone else would have seen how much we actually spoke, they would have for sure thought that we were like long distance dating.
Yeah,
That's how much we spoke on the
100%,
phone.
100%.
It was a good like 3 to 5 hours a day.
every day.
Every
what
single
were we
day.
talking about?
I have no clue. But it laid the foundation for a great friendship.
It really did. The foundations were very much laid.
Yep. And then I think maybe that's next summer there, like 6 months later or something, is
Yeah,
when you
sounds
first
about
came
right.
to visit.
Yeah.
You came to visit Kristen, but
did.
we had also become really great friends, so all of us were hanging out.
Yeah.
And then didn't you come one more time?
Yes, I came in a winter.
Yeah.
I came in a winter for like just a weekend, I think, or a long weekend.
Yeah. Maybe actually that was before the summer. Because
I can't remember because
Well,
yeah.
Either
Either way.
way,
There
right
was-
before Christmas of 2016,
Yes,
which was
true.
a year after us initially meeting on
Yeah.
FaceTime, we were talking, and I had a roommate who all of a sudden decided to just move out without any notice. So I was left with paying rent for 2.
Yes.
And
you
I
were.
was telling you about my frustration and how am I going to find someone like right before Christmas, and I can't afford to pay this for much longer.
Let me set the scene. I was also in hospital.
Yes, you were. What had happened?
I had some kind of stomach issue, which also linked to like not my head exactly. No one they
Wow,
couldn't
that's
they couldn't figure out exactly what it is. They still don't know what it is to this day. It's probably linked to my migraines.
oh yeah.
But I was in hospital for like I think 2 or 3 days.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is when we are talking about this.
Yes,
When you're
exactly.
lying in a hospital
I was
bed.
lying in a hospital bed and I was looking at the curtains and I was thinking the pattern is horrible.
Yes.
I really remember, it.
you saying that to
Yeah,
me as well.
the pattern's horrible. But then,
But then
Matilda,
you
tell
said
the story.
out of nowhere, Esme goes,
Left field.
maybe I'll just move in.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I think this is a joke because she lives in Bristol in England and had never ever spoken about wanting to live in Norway. And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Fun.
Imagine. And then you like paused for a few seconds. You're like, no, but really though, like what if I just moved in? And 3 weeks later,
Yes,
you moved in.
I did.
I picked you up at the airport.
True
We went
story.
straight to, you had like 2 suitcases of clothes.
Mhm.
And we went straight to IKEA. We bought you a bed
Yep.
and like everything else you needed. And we went to headquarters,
Yeah,
HQ, as
and
we
I
called our
moved.
apartment. And you just moved.
I just moved. I after that phone call, I just texted my boss like, "Hey, like I think I'm going to move to Norway and after Christmas." And she was like, "That's amazing. Oh my god, let's have a party and celebrate. That's amazing." Everyone was like so excited. My mum was like loving it. Like,
Yeah.
go for it. My dad was, indifferent because he's a dad. And yeah, I just did it.
You just moved.
I did. I moved to Norway exceptionally hungover from my leaving party.
Yes.
I was in pieces.
You were
Quite honestly,
yeah, you were
I was
pretty ruined when
pieces.
you arrived.
I didn't know what day it was. I didn't understand what was going on, but I made it.
Yes. And we're all so glad that you made it.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'd say that was the start of our friendship 2.0. Because if you think about it, even
Yeah.
though we had talked a lot, like on the phone, we had gotten to know each other, we had only met twice
That's true.
when you moved in with me.
That's true.
And we were
That was a risk that you took,
It
Matilda.
really was. And being friends with someone is one thing, but living with them is something completely different.
Whole different story.
But it turned out that we were the best roommates. Like we had it was just like a well-oiled machine.
It really was.
Things
there
just
was a flow.
worked. It was nothing to ever be annoyed at with the other person, which
That's
was
so
really,
true.
really great.
It was. It was lovely.
And it was the best year of my life, honestly.
It really was. I'm still waiting for the song about it, but that's fine.
It'll come.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry. But
Thank
no,
you.
we had a lot of fun in HQ. We had our in the middle of the night McDonald's runs for a McFlurry.
Why not?
We had the local pizza restaurant who recognized us because we were there every Sunday.
No shame. No
Actually,
shame.
we were not there every Sunday. They brought us food every Sunday.
And let me just give you some background here. That pizza restaurant from our apartment is probably less than 500 meters.
Oh yeah, we could have walked there
we could
in
have walked
under
there.
a minute. But
Yeah.
we chose not to.
We chose, and I stand by that decision.
Same,
honestly,
same.
we.
But it's paid off though, because if either one of us goes in there today,
Yes.
we get free stuff because they love us
Exactly.
so much.
Build
So-
those relationships, people. They will
Especially with the pizza restaurants.
with the pizza restaurant because
It's
you know
so
they
important.
come through.
They really do.
Yeah, we had the time of our lives
Yes.
in that apartment.
And I introduced you to something that you had never seen before.
That's true.
And that was,
One Tree Hill,
yes,
the Tree Hill, the Ravens.
Wow.
Go Ravens! Am I wrong?
you are so right.
I knew it.
Because I couldn't believe it that you'd
No, I
never
hadn't
seen
seen
it
it.
before. And so I was like, I'm dedicated to this. So let's watch the entire thing,
Yeah.
9 seasons.
We did.
And boy, did we binge that.
We binged
hard.
it so hard.
I want to say we went to bed like on an average at like 3,
Oh,
4
yeah,
in the morning
100%.
because we just couldn't stop,
Couldn't stop
watching it.
And then we wake up at about 1 the next day.
And I was so happy though because you like actually fell in love with it.
I did.
The same way as I did,
did.
when I was
I did.
younger. So yeah, no, we had a lot of fun with that.
It was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
You just stayed here.
I just stayed here.
You didn't want to
Yeah,
leave.
didn't leave. But also in that apartment, like so much fun stuff happened.
Yeah.
We did a lot of fun and some questionable things in that apartment. A lot of questionable things, which I feel like we don't need to delve into.
No.
But the fun things, such as adopting Ellie the boy that we've told you about
yes,
for one
Ellie
night.
the boy, that was amazing.
Yeah. We didn't mention that we tried to like put her in the bathroom overnight.
Oh yeah, because
In,
we
like-
didn't know if
She was house trained.
exactly
Like, if she
So
was going to
we
poop
put her
everywhere.
put her in the bathroom, and she was screaming
She didn't like that idea.
for like 15 minutes, and then our hearts were
couldn't
hurting,
do
so
it.
we took her out.
And then we like covered all of our sofas in
Yep.
in blankets and towels, so paranoid that she was for some reason gonna like pee everywhere. And then we came up the next morning and she just lay in this little ball on the sofa,
so
and
cute.
she hadn't been
It's still a-
anywhere else.
It's still
like
a he.
it's a he.
Call her she, but it's still a he.
It's a he.
But
It's a boy
yeah,
cat.
Ellie the boy was the perfect house guest.
She really was. He really was. He was great.
Ugh,
Yeah, the cat was great.
the cat was amazing.
Had some dogs in that apartment, none of which are ours or were ever ours, but we
No.
did dog sitting.
We did.
And
A lot,
also,
actually.
we did a lot of dog sitting, and I feel like it's important to point out, for no other reason than to brag, but our apartment was 2 stories.
It was the best.
So we
apartment.
could have like large dogs, and it wasn't a problem.
I've said since the day I moved in there, but I keep saying it, that if I ever become rich,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go knock on the door to whomever's living there and buy that
Get
apartment
out.
because it's so great.
It's a great apartment.
It's literally right above the river. There's nothing between the kitchen window and the river.
beautiful.
So like the view is really nice, and
Has a
it's-
balcony.
It has a balcony.
2 bedrooms.
It's a really really.
We made
great
an
apartment.
office
We
in
did.
there.
We
It
did
may have
make an
been 1
office.
meter by 1 meter, but that's not the point.
It was still an office.
It was an office.
And I also had like the bedrooms were like big enough that I had all my recording equipment
Yes.
in my bedroom,
This is
and
true.
where you would come in and lie down on my bed while I was writing songs.
Yeah. You
And
know.
every once in a while, you would be like half asleep, and every once in a while, Esme would look up and be like, "Oh yeah, I really like that melody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really cool."
Yeah. And then I go back to sleeping.
Yeah,
Cat napping.
it was so nice.
It was really nice.
great memories from
Great
that
memories.
place.
Loved it.
And you also met your fiance while living there.
That is true. I did. I did meet her while living there. Aww. Yeah. And just again to say how nice this apartment was, when she first walked in to said apartment, she said, "Oi," and just
Which
looked
is
up,
a very Norwegian thing to say.
which means like, wow,
Yeah.
amazing, fantastic,
She thought you were rich.
breathtaking. Not me, the apartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
thought I was. Yeah, she was. Yeah, I didn't own it at all.
Neither.
But
Wish we did.
yeah, me too. But yeah, met her there. She had a great time. She loved that apartment. I will say that
everyone
for her.
loved that apartment.
Everyone. And the best thing about that apartment was, well, not the best thing, but one of the greatest things is that people wanted to come to you, so you never had to leave.
Yeah, and I love that.
That's my favorite thing.
Both of us hate like going to other
Socializing.
That too, but the other people's places, except for each other's place. Like I love it going to your apartment, you love coming here, but nowhere else. I'd rather just everyone come here if I could choose. Yeah. So like having that apartment, which was also like a great location, so it was easy access for people.
Exactly.
We also had a lot of people who would just, because it was like a high first floor apartment, so our balcony was like just a little bit above ground, so people would come and like jump up on the balcony and knock on the door, which was really great.
Oh, loved it.
Yeah.
I still, whenever I walk or drive past that apartment, I'm like, secretly it's ours.
Oh, same.
Like deep down in my heart, I'm like, everybody knows that it's ours.
Oh yeah, it's always going to be ours.
Yeah. And I will say that since we left, the area has gone downhill.
Oh yeah, so much like cops and
shootings,
things
thefts,
happening there.
Ambulance thefts.
It's not great.
Which I was caught in the middle of, coincidentally.
You always do find, well, that's with both of us though. We always find ourselves in situations that we shouldn't be in. But anyway, no, great apartment. Living together, taking a chance on moving in together was definitely...
It paid off, people. Look at us.
It really did. And
thriving.
I would say, I don't know if you agree with this, but I would say that when we were living there, that is kind of when you like unofficially became my manager without us even noticing.
True.
Because
I'm very protective.
Yes, first of all, you're very protective, but also like I just, from the very beginning of us like even starting to get to know each other, I just like felt like you had really good instincts when it came to what I was doing and good ideas. And while we were living together, I would like, so here's the thing with me. I can get an idea in the middle of the night.
You can.
And if I do, I need to do something about it right then and there, unless it's going to be gone the next day. And I had absolutely no respect for your sleeping routine. So many times I would get an idea like, let's say 2, 3 a.m. After we'd gone to bed and our bedrooms were like next to each other. We shared a wall. So I would just knock on the wall.
Yes.
And until you woke up and heard me. And then I was like, idea time. Get in here, please.
And there I would be.
And you'd crawl into my bed and like, what's your idea?
Tell me your idea.
And that's where the whole idea of my EP came about. You came up with the name, Odyssey. And
I did do that.
I'd say that's also where we kind of laid the ground works or the ground idea for the music video series that we did last year and also ended this year. But that's kind of where we started like talking about how cool it would be to do like a full-on series of music videos that are all connected.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of started very unofficially there.
It did. And we did shower sessions.
Oh, that was fun.
That was really fun.
Yeah. Which was basically just me singing in the shower with
Clothed.
clothes on and no running water.
No.
But yeah, and trying to fit a piano in the shower. That was hard, but we made it happen.
And a violinist at one point.
Yes,
in the
also
shower.
great.
That was a really good
weird
one.
Thing to call a musician and be like, hey, so do you want to go in the shower with me today and do a song?
And people came through.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Now, we had some of our best times.
Greatest moments. Our greatest hits. Non-musically speaking.
And then we moved out.
We did.
We moved out, and it was actually really sad. Like,
R.I.P.
Because the thing was, like, we could still see each other as often as we wanted to.
That's true.
But it wasn't as easy access.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. And, you decided to move, like, quite far away, Matilda.
Yeah, it was quite far away. It's better now.
It's much better now. Yeah.
This past year that I've been living here, it's been a lot better.
Yeah, I'm comforted.
Closer. Yeah. And now we see each other like
all the time.
Every other day.
Yeah. Which I feel like is healthy.
Yeah. You know what I thought was so funny? Because I thought we said earlier in this episode that we would speak like for hours every single day, right?
True.
And I have thought for a long, long time that after you pretty much after you moved here that we don't talk on the phone that much anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I've thought.
Yeah.
And then just last week, do you remember this?
no.
I was at your place,
Yeah.
and your fiance goes, well, you guys usually talk like at least 2 or 3 times a day to each other. And I was like, no, we don't. And then I looked at my phone and I was like, yes,
Yeah,
we
we
do.
Yeah, we do.
And that
We
made
do
me think, like,
that.
what do we even talk about? Like,
I don't
but then I
know.
realized, like, every time I have a little bit, like, extra time or like time to fit, let's say I'm driving from one place to another,
How
and
do
it's
you
only
fill that
like
time?
a 5-minute drive, I'll call you. I don't have anything
No.
particular to talk about.
No.
Like, you call me when you walk to or from work.
Exactly. I'm just like, I'm lonely.
Yes.
You know? I want something in my ears that isn't music. Although your
Exactly.
voice is music to my ears.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're
welcome.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
obnoxious,
Yeah.
but cute.
Yeah,
I like
know.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so we do talk
A lot.
Yeah.
All the time.
But I just
Every day.
like talking to you.
Yeah, I like talking to you too. It's fun.
Yeah. And you would think that now when we have this podcast that we record once a week, where we get to talk for a good half hour, sometimes more, that would kind of like, fill that need.
Ease the pain.
Doesn't at all.
Negative on that.
Because before we started recording this, we were talking for about 45 minutes.
Yes.
Pretty nonstop.
About what?
Nothing.
No,
And
true.
then when we stop recording this, we're probably going to talk for another at least half an hour before
About
you go
nothing
home. Yeah.
again.
So it's just
Yeah.
what we do.
It is what we do.
Yeah.
I like it. It's
I like
fine.
it too.
I-
But yeah, that's pretty much the story on
That's the story.
how we met. And I think the reason why we've spoken about this a little bit before, but like the reason why we're so close is because we, like you said, like we just have so much in common.
It's true.
Like it's not
very
many
similar.
things that one of us likes that the other person doesn't like.
No.
But I think no, go ahead.
No, and as I said last week, listeners, if you do disagree on something, respect it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
But really though, but I think for me it's more important to me, more important than us liking the same thing. It's actually more important to me that we dislike the same things.
True. That's true.
Because that makes it so much easier.
And it's also so much fun to like berate things that we hate together.
Yes. So much fun.
It's really fun. I like that.
And it was like, and it's easy, like when this was obviously easier when we lived together, that we like all the same like movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But also now, because if one of us doesn't have anything to watch, because we're both addicted to always having to have something to watch, then we can just call the other person like, okay, what have you seen?
What are you watching? What have you watched?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And now I just told you before this podcast is something we spoke about, is I watched the Michelle Obama documentary.
Yes, which I will get on.
10 out of 10
probably
recommend.
tonight.
Bring your tissues, people. Or maybe I'm just emotional, but I cried 5 times.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to cry too.
It was not heart-wrenching, it was just moving.
Yeah.
Very moving.
Also, what a queen.
What a queen. I saw her in Oslo, people.
Oh, yes.
I saw her in the flesh, and I don't, like, I've seen people. I've seen people.
Yep.
I've seen Beyonce, I've seen football players. I've seen a whole bunch of people, and it's like
me
I see Matilda every day. I mean, come on. But seeing Michelle Obama, like the only Michelle Obama that is right in front of you, speechless.
Don't you feel like, I feel like she is like, she almost doesn't exist.
Yeah, it was like, oh, maybe they've, like, she's not real, so it's fine.
It's like Oprah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this can't be happening, so I'm just gonna accept that part. Like, oh, it's not happening. Like, this is not real.
Yeah.
And she comes out to Alicia Keys, and it was just a whole jam. She was wearing a fire outfit. And she has this ability. Like, how many people fit in Spectrum? 20?
No, not even.
Not even?
It's like 8,000
8,000.
or something, yeah.
But you feel like you're the only one in the room.
Yep. I can imagine her having that effect on you.
She really did. She really did.
What a great gal.
What a gal. Shout out to Mish.
She's probably listening to this podcast.
Hi, Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that if I mean, obviously, there's a million things we could talk about when it comes to like our friendship and how we ended up where we're at. But I think what we have told so far is like the key parts
Key
of
points.
how we ended up being friends, and like you becoming my manager was just something that kind of organically happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you'd been doing it for a
Mm.
long time before we kind of like sat down and like,
Realized.
well, wait a minute,
What's
aren't
going
you
on
like
here?
actually my man? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that because I think that's also a big part of why it's not an issue for us to balance those two things, because it kind of just happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't
was
like
organic.
I didn't like out of the blue ask you and then you stepped into this role that you'd never
No.
had before.
No.
Like you'd already done the exact same thing. So it's just like probably like a little bit more responsibility, but
Yeah.
but still like it had already been happening for quite some time.
It just happened.
It just happened.
Which, I think is great.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think
Because
so too.
we've done great things.
We've done so
So
many
many
fun
great
things.
things.
And like my favorite part is like traveling together.
Yeah.
Even if it's like in Norway, like by car, or
Yeah,
if
it's
it's
so
to LA
fun.
or wherever it is, like it's so much fun.
It's so fun. Matilda actually told me that I'm like a really, really great travel companion, and I feel like that's one of the best compliments you can get, guys. Because
but you are though.
if you can say that you enjoy being on a plane with someone for 10 hours, that's a feat of humankind. Like my fiance hates being on a plane with me for any amount of time because I take the biscuit with her because I'm like bored. I'm on the plane, bored. On the plane, I'm bored.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm probably horrible, but
No, I think you're great.
thank you so much.
And I also just love that, again, like we love the same things and we hate the same things.
Yes.
So like same with traveling. Like we know without oh shit, I'm sorry. I just punched
Did you
the
bash
mic.
them?
Yeah. So without having to say anything out loud, we both know when it's time to like cut in line, when it's time to go to the bathroom, when it's time to like run, when it's time to sit down and just relax and wait your turn.
That's
like,
true.
Again, well-oiled machine.
It's true.
That's just how we roll.
It is.
And we also have like something always happens to us like where we have this like unbelievable luck with things. It
always happens. What is that?
Like last time we went to LA, it was a full plane and we realized that we're seated where I'm seated at the aisle, right? And then there's someone next to me on my left side, and then you, and then someone next to you again.
Yeah.
And so we're like, damn it, like we're gonna have someone in the middle. That's gonna be annoying.
No one gets between us.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, the flight attendant goes, boarding completed. And we were like, what? There's no one sitting in between us. And so we're sitting there like, well, obviously they said it's a full plane, so
yeah, they said there's no single seat available.
Yeah, because we asked if we could switch around.
They were like, this is completely full.
But what happens? The flight attendant comes over, I grab her, and I'm like, well, I don't grab her. That sounds very violent.
Wow, Matilda.
But I kind of tapped her shoulder. I was like, hey, excuse me, is no one gonna sit here? And she's like, no, we can't find the person. And that would be concerning, like to hear we can't find a person. But at that point, I did not care that they couldn't find that person because we ended up having so much space.
Yeah.
And that always happens. Like we rented a super basic car in LA, ended up with a Range Rover. So
that stuff happens.
It just happens. And it does not happen to me when I'm with anyone else. So
I'm a lucky charm.
You really are. You really are.
We also almost didn't make it to LA that time.
True, because it was winter in Oslo.
It was winter in Oslo, and there was a lot of snow.
Yeah.
And the snow decided to stick itself to your car.
Yep.
And then you couldn't get out. And Matilda was picking me up to go to the airport, people. And this is at 3 a.m. in the morning, which makes everything so much worse. And
it was cold.
It was
too.
minus 10
something
15 and it's snow, and I get a phone call. I'm getting ready, 3 a.m, feeling a bit tired, but excited. We're gonna travel, fun. And I get this phone call saying, I can't get out. I'm like, get out of where? And you're like, my car, it's stuck. And of course there's no one around because it's 3 a.m. in Oslo. Like no one is doing anything at that time other than sleeping. And you're like, fuck, my car is stuck. Like, we're not going to make it. And we're already cutting it a little fine, to say the least. And I'm just like trying to remain calm and professional. So I'm like, no worries, just keep trying. And I'll grab a taxi and just come to, like, either come to you if I find one quickly, or if I don't find one quickly, I'll just head to the airport. So at least one of us gets there, right? And we're like freaking out, and you're like, but I'm stuck. This is over.
The thing was, though, my car moved a little bit at first before it got stuck. So it got stuck with like half the car in the middle of the road and half the car still in the parking space. So I couldn't leave the car. That's why, because like if I couldn't just get it out, then I would have just taken a taxi with you, you know?
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was that the guy who is like cleaning the road from snow, I don't know what that's called, but that person in a tractor. Came by because he was doing his job, because they always do that in the middle of the night when people are sleeping. And so I just run out in the road and I'm like waving my arms, getting him to stop. And he was such a nice guy, and he helped me out. And so, but you'd already gotten in a taxi, so you jumped out in the middle of somewhere, and I picked you up, and we went to the airport. We're looking at the time, every 3 minutes. It's like a 40 minute drive.
Yeah.
And we get there, we park, we run inside, and when we go to check in our bags, the lady says, well, with 4 minutes to spare.
Can you believe the luck, people? Also, before we were running in the airport, we were running outside the airport, which was icy as fuck because it's winter.
Yeah.
And we've got suitcases, and we're cold because we would leave our winter jackets in the car, because obviously we're going to Los Angeles, which is not freezing.
Nope.
And it was a whole thing. But we made it.
It was a whole thing. But we made it.
Made it.
And I'm so glad that we did.
Me too.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
It was really fun. On that note, though, I think that
Don't say
it's
it.
time to...
Don't say it.
I know.
Don't do it.
But it's time to end it. But we should leave them with a challenge.
Yes, we should.
And I'm thinking that I would like for people to put my latest song tonight in their playlist on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever they listen to music, or on YouTube if you prefer that. I want you to put it in a playlist, and I also want you to get a friend to put it in their playlist.
Yes.
And it would be awesome if you could like tell us about it, or like try to introduce it to someone who hasn't heard my music before, pretty much. Obviously, feel free to introduce multiple people to my music, but we're gonna say at least one.
At least one, exactly.
At least one.
And
and then also people can just DM us or comment on things they want us to talk about, or if they have something, like we said in the very, very beginning, I think the very first episode, that if you have like a dilemma or a question or something, we would be happy to talk about it.
I want some dilemmas.
Yes.
Emma's.
Dilemmas are fun.
Also a great song. Nelly feat. Kelly Rowland.
Oh, Dilemma, that song. Yeah, that is a great song.
Yeah.
But on that note, we're going to say bye.
Okay, fine.
Do you want to do the honors?
I don't know if I'm ready.
No?
It's been such a fun episode.
I'm going to say thank you for listening. And
okay, fine. Thank you for listening.
Next week.
No, thank you for listening, guys.
Sign us off, Esme.
Okay. Go. Thank you for listening. This has been Esme and Matilda. P.S. Check our Instagram highlights for Black Lives Matters petitions and information. Don't forget. And won't see you next week, but we'll talk to you next week.
Yes, we will.
Bye.
Bye.